Hello, everyone. My name is Joan Antoniello. I'm a principal of Mazars Wealth Advisors, and welcome to our Mazars Take 5. I'm happy today to have Kathleen Brady, who is a managing partner, rather a managing director and head of coaching for Preferred Transitions Resources. Kathleen is a life coach, and she specializes in professional and leadership development and well-being. Kathleen, tell us a little bit about yourself and, like I like to say, your evolution into what you're doing now as a career.
Great. Thanks so much for having me on here.
You're very welcome.
I started my career in academia. So I was in the career center I started at Columbia Law School in their placement office, helping people get judicial clerkships and just sort of learning about the legal industry. And that was pretty much right out of college. And from there, I went to Fordham Law School, where I really spent about 12 years, kind of going from assistant director all the way up to assistant dean. I was there for a long time, doing the career development stuff. So it's about job hunting, but it was always about more than that. It was about helping students align their values with their job choices.
Very important. Very important.
In the legal profession, a lot of times what happens is we get kind of caught up in the hierarchy. And so people feel like, oh, you're on law review and you've got really good grades, so therefore you must follow this path. And I always was, that's one path you could go, but here's 12 others, and let's talk about that and what will bring you joy and your life meaning. And so and that just kind of came instinctually to me. This was before coaching kind of blossomed the way that it did. So I did that over the years working in academia, and then I went over to what we lovingly said in the academic side of things, to the dark side. And I worked at law firms doing the recruiting and professional development, and really specialized in the professional development piece. And again, helping people look at the different transitions in their lives, because
Interesting.
it's not just, people think about transition only as job change, and that's
Right.
certainly one. But when you get your new job, and then maybe you become a parent, or you get divorced, or now you have to take care of elderly parents. Those are all life transitions that are going to impact your career. So I try to help people make intentional choices about those things. And then I ultimately decided to get my coaching certification, because I thought I needed a little. First, I originally thought that I needed just the credential. I figured I'd been doing this all along. I didn't really need anything. I didn't expect to really learn anything. But coaching is a very specific tool set, so that combined with my advising and counseling, which are a bit different than coaching, I really feel like I've got the full breadth of things that I can offer to people as they're making career life choices. So it's a
So Kathleen, we worked together last year on the program. So tell us a little bit about what organizations can do today to promote well-being amongst their employees. I mean, it's been 8 months into the pandemic. There's been so many stress factors that people have to deal with. So tell us your philosophy and your thoughts on that.
I always think if employers would treat their employees the same way they treat their clients, they would do fabulously. If you are in a position where you can help your employees be the best version of themselves, the organization becomes the best version of itself. And so, everything boils down to, for me, simplicity. It's about communicating effectively. What are
Mhm.
your expectations of them during COVID? Are you sensitive to the different needs that they might have? And really talk to each other, listen to each other, get the information you need, because the answers to all of these questions live inside your walls. It's just that people are afraid to talk to each other because we're making assumptions about what they want, and there's that just great big disconnect all the time.
Very, very well put. So individuals are also responsible for their own well-being. So what can individuals do to promote their own well-being during these difficult times?
I always tell people, and I used to tell my students this: nobody cares more about your career, your life than you do. Not even me, and I get paid to care. So you really have to be willing to drive the bus and take responsibility for that. And that means find your voice and be able to push back on employers, not in a disrespectful way, but to sort of set your own boundaries and your own limits. And that is particularly important during COVID. I think working from home has morphed into living at work for a lot of people, and that's not sustainable for the long term.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's particularly difficult, I think, for some of the junior folks, because they may have a boss who's giving them assignments at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and rather than ask the question, is your expectation that I be doing this at 10 o'clock at night, or is it just that that's when that guy is free and that's when he can deal with it? So that's why I say it's about communicating. And I think there's some responsibility on the supervisors to say, this can wait till morning. And maybe it's obvious to you, but it may not be obvious to somebody who's kind of trying to get up the career ladder. They don't know that. So that's, take the extra time to give 3 or 4 more sentences about what your expectations are of people.
Great point. So what can organizations do or how can they promote well-being without sacrificing client service? A lot of organizations, people are working from home, so there are call centers from their bedroom, from their living room. So how can you promote well-being as an organization without, affecting customer service? Clients?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And I think people think it's a binary choice. Like there was just an article the other day about a woman in court whose water broke. She was just about to give birth and she pretended like it didn't happen and just, kind of went on and finished her summation or wherever she was at in the trial. And people were applauding that as, wow, that's wonderful. I'm not sure. Is that wonderful? I wasn't in the room, so I don't know. But, I would think that if people just recognized each other's humanity in some of this stuff, instead of trying to pretend like we're all, superhuman beings. And I think that's part of the problem, is that we all think that it should be all sacrifice all the time. And I think clients are human too. And so they're paying a lot of money for your services. So you want to be responsive, but responsive doesn't necessarily mean you have to work 24/7. Responsive could be something as simple as, great, I will take care of this. I'll get back to you next week on this. And that may be all the person needs. So
Right.
it really, again, it always comes down to, so simplistic, be an effective communicator with folks. There and it's a balance of things, but I think setting up the clear expectations, but at the same time, treating each other as human beings.
Kathleen, this has been great. And I think the thing that I take out of this that's really important during this time is communication. So before we end, just give us a quick rundown of some advice for organizations and individuals, and then tell us a little bit about your new book that just came out, and also how people can reach you if they want to learn more about you.
Perfect. Thank you. For individuals, the first thing is, set up boundaries, because now without commuting, there's no artificial boundaries that separate work from home. So find a way to do that. Establish your habits and your routines. Still get up and shower. And when I'm sitting in this space, I'm working. When I'm out of this space, I'm not working. So that you can draw those kind of distinctions. I think that is important. I also think for individuals, feel free to mourn the things that you've lost, your routines that were special to you and important to you, that you can't do anymore. It's okay to be sad about them, but don't dwell on that.
Mhm.
Because it's about looking forward. It's always about what you do next. It's like, okay, I can't do it this way anymore. How can I do this that will still bring me some element of joy or happiness and
Exactly.
that, even in a pandemic.
Establishing a new routine and new expectations, as I call it.
Yeah, and remember, different from does not mean less than. So we
Exactly.
all know, for example, the holidays, they're going to look different this year. That's okay. But so you can still make them fun. It'll be different, but it doesn't have to be less than. So
And your new book?
my new book is called Succession Planning and Retirement Strategies for Law Firms and Lawyers. And again, it comes down to communication. It's helping the law firms understand and think about, how do I have these conversations with people who are approaching retirement age so that we can meet the needs of both, and for the lawyers to figure out, well, how do I have these conversations with these institutions without making assumption about, what they will or won't allow. So it's trying to help facilitate those conversations.
And if people want to learn more about you, how can they reach you? Your
Probably the best
website?
way is looking at our website at preferredtransition.com is our website. And my email address is Kathleen@preferredtransition.com. I'm always happy to hear from people, and you always get the 10 or 15 minute freebie just to sort of check it out. If you've never worked with a coach before, we're always sort of happy to answer questions and help people figure out how we can be useful. And quite frankly, if we can't be useful, if we think there's another service that would be better for you, we're going to send you that way too. So it really is,
Terrific.
whatever it
Terrific.
is you need, we want to be here to help.
Kathleen, thank you very much. And to all of our clients and friends, stay safe and stay healthy. And the same to you, Kathleen, and a big thank you again. And hope to see you one year.
Why? Yes. Thanks so much.